before we dive into the galaxy brain theories and timeline madness, let's hit a quick Season 1 recap. Because Heavenly Delusion doesn't just tell a story, it runs two stories side by side and somehow keeps them both equally stressful. The anime splits itself between two worlds. Outside, you've got Maru and Kiruko road-tripping across a wrecked Japan, fighting monsters, scavenging food, and trying not to die before breakfast. Inside, you've got a group of sheltered kids living in a mysterious facility that calls itself Heaven, which is basically the world's most suspicious school disguised as paradise. Season 1 adapts roughly the first 6 manga volumes and ends on one of those. We answered something, but also gave you 12 new questions, kinds of finales, atmospheric, haunting, and very on-brand for Ishiguro. On the road, we meet Maru, soft-spoken but secretly a one-man monster deletion program, and Kiruko, the tough bodyguard with a past that gets way darker than the show initially lets on. They're hunting for a place called Heaven, armed with a photo and the fact that Maru apparently has a doppelganger there. Along the way, they fight Hiruko, stumble into questionable human settlements, and get a front-row look at how messy ethics become when the world ends. Meanwhile, inside the facility, the kids, Tokyo, Kona, Mimihime, and the rest live under the watchful eyes of robotic caretakers and a hyper-capable AI system that seems a little too invested in their future. Everything looks peaceful, until it absolutely isn't. Strange pregnancies, prophetic visions, and whispered warnings start to crack the illusion, revealing that this safe haven might actually be the world's most elaborate science experiment. Then the late season reveals Hatpari, and suddenly the puzzle pieces line up in the worst possible way. Kiruko's backstory shifts from tragic to full-on biohorror. The Academy's experiments start looking less like research and more like mad engineering, and several characters aren't exactly who we thought they were. Season 1 doesn't wrap things up neatly. It ends like the conclusion of Part 1 in a bigger saga.
Let me go!
Answering a few huge questions while nudging viewers straight toward the manga for the deeper truths. If you finish the anime feeling intrigued, unsettled, and a little obsessed, congratulations, that's exactly how Heavenly Delusion wants you to feel. Manga timeline. Alright, before we dive into the wild theories and heartbreak the manga has in store, we need to talk about the timeline. Because Heavenly Delusion isn't just telling a story, it's juggling two of them at the same time and somehow making it feel smooth instead of confusing. So here's the deal. The manga started back in January of 2018 in Kodansha's monthly afternoon, and by mid-2025 it's way ahead of where the anime stopped. Season 1 basically covers the early stretch, from volumes 1 through 6. Meanwhile, the manga has already speedran into deeper mysteries, bigger reveals, and character moments that the anime only teases. New arcs even shift tone entirely, leaning harder into psychological horror and sci-fi conspiracy as things unravel. And the structure? Oh boy, don't get me started on that. Ishiguro sets up two parallel timelines like he's running a narrative science experiment. You've got the road journey, Maru and Kiruko wandering through post-calamity chaos. Then you've got the facility storyline, dropping flashbacks, random files, and AI logs like breadcrumbs. Every time one side reveals something small, the other side hits you with, surprise, this changes everything. It's a storytelling style that rewards obsessive readers and absolutely punishes people who speedruns the reading process. As the manga moves forward, it introduces new characters, new Hiruko variants, and way more details about the Academy's, let's call it, creative approach to science. Fans actually build their own timelines because the manga drops lore in pieces like it's a puzzle hunt. Big calendar anchors, the pre-calamity era when the Academy was formed, the calamity Mina predicted, and the post-collapse world everyone's trying to survive in. Ishiguro never retcon. Instead, he slowly fills in the blanks. So, you're not getting sudden plot twists out of nowhere, you're getting a long game where every info drop eventually lands like a punch to the gut. Kiruko's body truth. If you thought Kiruko's identity crisis was wild in the anime, the manga basically says, oh, you're confused, cool, let's make it worse. Her entire situation comes from one of the Academy's most questionable choices, a brain transplant after a Hiruko attack.
It's eating me! Ah! Robin! Please!
Leaving a brother's brain inside his sister's body. And the manga doesn't shy away from the messy parts, no matter if it is legal, emotional, medical, everything. It keeps raising the question, who is Kiruko now? Haruki? Kiriko? Someone new entirely? You should definitely expect the manga to lean harder into this, especially the psychological fallout and how the Academy justifies these decisions with its saving humanity motto. Later events also force Kiruko to confront people who knew the siblings before the tragedy, adding even more emotional chaos. Maru's true purpose. Maru isn't just some kid with good aim. He's practically a walking keycard for the Academy's future plans. The manga makes it clear he was engineered or selected to destroy Hiruko cores, maybe even activate certain devices Mina predicted. Different factions want him for wildly different reasons, and none of them seem particularly healthy. As the story goes on, expect more reveals about his origin and more people popping up saying, yes, actually, he belongs to us. Some groups even believe Maru's survival determines whether humanity restarts or collapses for good, so the stakes only get more intense. The facility's dark experiments. If the anime made the Academy look suspicious, the manga rips the curtain off completely. Mina's AI logs, artificial wombs, brain operations, selective breeding, all of it is there, and best believe, it's all terrifying. Staff diaries and lab notes reveal the facility wasn't built to protect children, it was built to use them. Later chapters dig deep into the cruelty behind the experiments and their obsession with shaping post-human kids. More classified files and emotional gut punches are basically guaranteed. The deeper you go, the more the Academy stops looking like a research center and starts looking like a quiet, smiling dystopia in a lab coat. New characters and threats. As the manga expands, so does the cast. New Hiruko, new staff, rival survivor groups, even clones. Not to mention entire factions that think they know what to do with Maru. And the enemies aren't just monsters, they're political, ideological, and sometimes heartbreakingly human. Expect more clones, malfunctioning AI moments, and ex-Academy staff who are just as morally complicated as the kids they created. The manga continually raises the stakes by introducing characters whose loyalties shift unpredictably, making every alliance feel temporary and every decision feel like it could spark another disaster. Release date speculation. Now let's talk about the big question. When is Season 2 coming? Short answer, officially nowhere. Not yet. Production I.G hasn't confirmed a second season, even though the manga has more than enough material. Season 1 only covered the first half, which means a follow-up is totally possible. But anime studios make decisions based on cold, hard business numbers. Think streaming performance, Blu-ray sales, international licensing, all that fun stuff. And since Heavenly Delusion is visually dense and animation heavy, it's not the kind of show that gets rushed out cheaply. Even if Season 2 is greenlit, the production cycle usually takes 12 to 24 months, depending on scheduling. There have been a few tiny hints, trademark renewals, small industry murmurs, but nothing that screams confirmed. Basically, treat all rumors like Maru treats strangers, cautiously and with one hand near a weapon. The best place for real updates? Production I.G's official channels, Kodansha announcements, Anime News Network, or Crunchyroll. Although Reddit hype threads are fun, but they are not exactly reliable. Bottom line, the story is there, the demand is there, fans are ready, but Season 2 is still in limbo until someone with a production budget finally presses go. Fan hopes and wishlist. Fans have been incredibly clear about what they want from a Season 2, and honestly, the wishlist is pretty reasonable, at least most of it. First off, everyone wants the adaptation to stay faithful to the manga's deeper, darker reveals. The anime skipped or softened some of the dossier-style intel, Mina's logs, the lab reports, the slow burn mysteries, and viewers really want those kept intact next time. They want the uncomfortable truths, not a polished, anime-safe version of events. Then there's Kiruko's storyline. Her history gets heavy, and fans want the adaptation to treat it with the seriousness it deserves. No shock value edits, no rushing her emotional journey. Give her space to process what happened, and don't reduce her arc to a plot device. A lot of fans specifically want more scenes showing her inner conflict, rather than jumping straight to external plot developments. Pacing is another big concern. The Academy's secrets and Maru's origins work best when they have room to breathe, so fans are begging for a longer season or a split plan instead of a compressed run. And of course, the technical wish list is as expected. Keep the original voice actors, preserve the eerie soundtrack, and make sure the animation hits those body horror feats just as well as the emotional ones. Outside of the show, fans also want more manga reprints, better translations, and maybe even commentary from Ushiguro explaining the timeline and themes. Some even hope for OVAs exploring side characters or showing pre-collapse Japan. But above all, they just want closure. Whether it's a multi-season run or a movie finishing the story, the community really doesn't want Heavenly Delusion to end up as that one anime that stopped right before all the good stuff. So that's it for this video, folks. I would hope that you guys enjoyed it. Do not forget to hit that bell icon and that subscribe button to stay updated with our future videos. See you in the next one.